This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we thank you for making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day. And Lee, before we get to our picks from last night, and by the way, 2-1, another winning night, we'll review all the picks. We're going to get right into it. And we're going to jump right into today's hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
So already we are going to go with the hidden gem, Lee. And last night we had in the WNBA. Tonight we're going to go with Major League Baseball. And I'm going to go with the Washington Nationals in the first 5 innings against the St. Louis Cardinals. And both these teams have been struggling of late. The Nationals were off an embarrassing home sweep at the hands of the Red Sox. They allowed in that series 27 runs to Boston. And before that, they actually won the final 2 against Detroit. So you saw a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But with the St. Louis Cardinals, though, they had a rough series against the Cubs this past weekend, allowed 22 runs in the 2 losses, and they're back from their long road trip. Sonny Gray has been St. Louis's best pitcher. There's nothing really bad you could say about him. But for Jake Irvin in the first 5 innings this season, 10-6-2. And Irvin did not face the Cardinals the last time these teams hooked up earlier in the season. The Cardinals swept the Nationals in D.C. I think that Washington will come out with a solid effort, at least early on. So I'm going to go with the Washington Nationals in the first 5 innings tonight as a heavy underdog against St. Louis.
Question for you in that game. Part of your reasoning also, new manager, a lot of guys on the team might want to impress to get more playing time, because that's something for the first couple games in baseball, one of the angles that I've always played, and it's been tried and true.
Dave Martinez was fired yesterday, and the Nationals, look how far they've fallen, Lee, is that they were a team that won the World Series. They had great pitching, and then everything fell apart. They got rid of a lot of their big pieces, and now this is where they're at as a team towards the bottom of the National League East. And I guess now is time just to shake things up. I do like the revenge angle from the St. Louis series earlier in the season. I like bouncing back after the bad series against Boston. Also, another thing I like in baseball too, Lee, when you're bad at home and you go on the road, I think it's like a reset button. I think you play a little bit better just getting away from home. And also with the Cardinals, yes, the advantage they have on the mound with Sonny Gray, absolutely. But they're not playing well either. And they're coming off this long road swing of 2 losses to the rival Cubs. I just think that Washington, with a little bit of a reset here, it's not going to make them a playoff team, but will make them at least play better, at least early on tonight.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I love the manager angle the first couple games in baseball. Football, basketball, it's been tried and true also. Sonny Gray, doesn't it seem like he's been around forever? And I thought he was on the downturn, a couple years ago. He has pitched better, but sometimes get in the middle of the season and these guys that are some of the better pitchers for their teams and the staffs, even they have a couple bad games.
Yeah, and Sonny Gray, again, very good pitcher, but we'll see if the Nationals can get to him tonight, and we'll take them as our hidden gem. So we're going to try to build off of last night's 2-1. We should keep this going. That's all you can do. And last night, Lee, you hit on Richard Fitz. They call him Dickey, as he had the strikeout prop. He hit the over against the Rockies, and it kind of felt like, I don't want to say easy streak, but it felt like he was in control of that, and another winner there.
He looked good. His fastball was electric. He had movement. So, you got to look at some of these pitchers that are under the radar, because now, pretty much the gamblers and the odds makers have figured it out. You got to dig a little bit deeper. And here's a kid that's really come on.
So the second winner we had, the Phoenix Mercury, first quarter, -1.5. They were without 2 of their top players, and they played well early on. They ended up beating Dallas. But I just felt, and we talked about it yesterday too, that you're down your best player. Also, their third leading scorer was out. Dallas, not a great road team, and Dallas just beat them as heavy home underdogs. That Phoenix was going to come out. I don't know about if it's long-term without their best player that they will do this every night, but at least the first game back at home that they were going to step up at least early.
So smart of you to take that first period. I mean, the fourth period, they ran out of gas. They were leading the game going into the fourth quarter, got outscored 26-13. They didn't even cover. How about this? The closing line. If you got it early, and let's say you played the first quarter and the game, you won both. If you waited and, when we were looking at the game, the line was down so much, if the line goes away from you, don't bet the game. So you were so smart to just play the first quarter. In the fourth quarter, they were running on fumes, and they lost the game and the cover. But for the Locked On Bet show, Kevin Rogers was gold. He gets the win by being smart and taking the first period.
3-0 on the WNBA bet so far, Lee. So we're looking good in that. Now, as far as the last one, unfortunately, the Astros were back at home against the Guardians after that big sweep of the Dodgers this past weekend. Cleveland had been terrible, and Cleveland led 4-0 in the fifth. Houston came back with 4 in the bottom of the fifth inning. So first, before we get to the final of the game, how does it feel, A, if you had the first 5 under and you had Cleveland in the first 5, you thought you're in the bag, up 4-0 at least. Houston comes back to tie it. So that was kind of a couple rough beats there. But the Astros were in it. Unfortunately, couldn't get over the hump in that game.
I should have taken the first 5, and with the 4 in the bottom of the fifth, we could have gotten the push. We would have been more excited with a 2-0-1. But 2-1, people don't realize how good 2-1 going 67% is on a daily basis. Obviously, when you go 3-0, that's where you can build the profits, and that's where you make the big money. But 2-1, you do that every day for the week, you're going to have a great week.
And we look to do that again today already with the Washington Nationals first 5 against St. Louis. But we still have more bets to come. We have a couple baseball selections coming up in the next segment. Also, we continue with our NFL season win total previews. Yesterday was the New York Giants. Today, a team that they beat a couple times in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots, but not exactly the same faces there anymore. But the Patriots' new coach this year, and we'll see what Drake Maye does in his second season. So we have a lot to get to here as we continue with Locked On Bets. I want to tell you now about FanDuel. And FanDuel, they are a great sponsor here on the show and on the network. And summer sports are in full swing. Whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. And, when you look at also other things you can get on FanDuel, NFL and college football lines. Week 1, they're already out. So you can beat the closing line if you want to grab it here before even the preseason begins at FanDuel. Also, future bets. You can make them for the Super Bowl. You could do it for college football, the national championship, for the Heisman Trophy, if you're even ready for that. And also the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final, all of that. You can go to FanDuel. If you are new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5. You get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. As we continue here on this Tuesday, Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling with you on Locked On Bets. A couple baseball bets now to look at for the Tuesday edition of Major League Baseball. And the first one we're going to do is we're going to have a prop bet.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Cal Raleigh, a guy who went to Florida State and is a big bopper. I feel like it took him a little bit of time to kind of get into the groove a little bit. But now he goes to the biggest stage in all of baseball, the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, Mariners and the Yankees tonight. We'll see if he can continue his prowess, the short porch in right field. So, Lee, what do you like with the Mariners catcher and his player prop tonight?
So, is he one of your favorite players, Major League Baseball, Kevin?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, not really. I mean, I don't really have any favorite players, but I mean, I like the fact that he did go to FSU. But past that, I don't look at him as like one of the guys I love. You know.
Okay. When you were growing up, did you have posters on your wall? Sports posters?
I mean, yeah, it was like maybe Michael Jordan or something like that, but not a lot of posters. It was more of like team stuff. I didn't really have a lot of player. Yeah.
I had posters. I had Roger Staubach, seeing as I played quarterback, and believe it or not, even being from Miami, I was Cincinnati Reds fan. So I had Pete Rose, I had Tom Seaver posters, things like that. We didn't have a team yet. If I was a Florida State alumnus, and I'm not, thank God. That's a story for another day between you and I. I didn't like the colors.
Yeah.
When I went to Southwest Texas State, now Texas State, my first year, when I found out that was their colors, it was kind of tough to wear them being a Miami fan. But Cal Raleigh would be my guy. I mean, there was talk at the beginning of the year, especially the first couple of weeks, the way this team started, that they were going to have to trade for not one, maybe two guys that could drive in runs and hit home runs. And Cal Raleigh has stopped all that talk. I mean, he's leading Major League Baseball in home runs. He actually has the highest percentage of reaching second base in Major League Baseball, almost 50% of the time. Now, tonight, over 1.5 total bases is minus 130. I think it should be 140, 150 even. Great hitting conditions. Very important when you're going to take overs and player props. Looks great. The wind is blowing out. It's hot. It's humid here. You know what? If he gets us 4 or 5 bases, I might even search online to see if they still sell posters for Major League Baseball players, buy one and send one to you and put one up myself. So we're going to go with a blowout special. Cal Raleigh tonight, former FSU catcher and Seattle Mariners backstop, over 1.5 total bases, minus 130. Could be. He could do it in the first at bat. He gets it to a double. He's not going to leg out a triple, but a double or home run will be sitting pretty.
How about this number, Lee? Cal Raleigh last year, 34 home runs in 153 games, 35 home runs in 88 games this year. It's just amazing what he's done. He's had good seasons, but this is unbelievable what he's done. We're not even at the All-Star break, and he is already going to maybe tie or pass his home run total from last year.
Whatever his offseason workout was, he should sell it. He'd make probably a lot of money.
Yeah, it was. It's really impressive. We'll see what he does tonight against the Yankees. And now another American League matchup.
What the WTF?
The Rays and the Tigers meet in Detroit, and the Tigers have been excellent this season, sitting atop the American League Central. Of course, you have Tarek Skubal at the top of their rotation, which is very helpful, but a very good lineup as well. The Tigers did beat the Rays last night in the opener of their series at Comerica Park, and Tampa Bay is still right in the American League East mix. The Yankees have been struggling. Toronto won again last night, but the Rays are still right there in the mix, and they face Jack Flaherty this evening. And Lee, you think the wrong team is favored here with the Tigers at home against the Rays?
So when you go to a Tampa Bay game and you're not in Tampa or in Miami, there's almost no Tampa Bay fans. I mean, this is another team that no one talks about every year. They're very competitive with a very small budget, but I mean, their scouting is second to none. If they had the Yankees payroll, they'd probably be in the World Series every other year. Now, they're an underdog tonight, plus 115. Detroit pitcher, Jack Flaherty, last week we faded him off that Sunday night outing, and I'm going to go back to the well here again. His ERA is all the way up to 4.84. He's much better in Detroit, which is a considerably friendly ballpark for pitchers, and you have to take that into account. This is another game, has a ton of layers. The Tampa Bay lineup, get this, if you see a lineup hitting 270, 280 against a pitcher, a lot of times you jump on it. This might be the highest I've seen a pitcher as far as giving up hits against the lineup, the Tampa Bay lineup is hitting .333 in their careers against him. They are top 10 as Tampa Bay's lineup right now over the last 2 weeks in almost every major statistical offensive category. Tampa Bay pitcher, Ryan, he is an ERA of 3.34 and on pace for the lowest walk ratio of his career. He's really starting to hit his stride. So, as I mentioned, so many things going here. There's so many layers to this game I like here. I think they priced the game wrong. I think the Tampa Bay should be the favorite by minus 125 to 30. So we're going to go with a wrong team favored, Tampa Bay Rays, money line plus 115. It's our first wrong team favored in a few shows, and I like this game a lot. And probably will be on my card to my clients today.
And also Ryan Pepio, he had one earned run he allowed against the Tigers when they faced him in Tampa earlier this season. So he did a good job shutting them down. And kind of like you mentioned, Lee, that the Rays, I mean, with us being in Florida, we kind of are more exposed to it than other people around the country. That Tropicana field was absolutely no home field advantage. You know, people didn't like it. Then that hurricane hit, so the roof came off. So now they had to move to the minor league stadium this year. And I don't really know how much that's really affected the team. But again, that cannot be easy. I understand you're not like relocated, but also playing in a different stadium. That's got to be a little bit different when you're used to playing indoors all those years. Now you're back to every game being outdoors.
Yeah, it's Detroit's first trip there. So something to track. And Tampa Bay's already used to that stadium. So the lighting is different. Minor league. Even though they are used for spring training, the lighting isn't as good as these major league parks. So not used to the outfielders also when they're going back on balls, seeing the ball and, just getting used to the dimensions. It takes time. It's like a lot of teams when they go to Boston, a lot of young players, they're in awe that first time. And sometimes it takes them a game or two to get used to the conditions.
So that's the baseball for today. Now, NFL, we looked at the New York Giants yesterday, and we're going to take a look at the New England Patriots in just a few moments. But the AFC East, Lee, want to transition to this now, that this was a division owned by the Patriots forever when you had Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Obviously, both of them are now gone. So you don't have Tom Brady there. The quarterback play has not been as good. They now had to change things up a little bit. Again, we'll get to that. But the rest of the teams inside the AFC East, it went from New England's division to Buffalo's division. Now, it feels like year in, year out, you can almost guarantee as long as Josh Allen doesn't get hurt that the Bills will probably win the division. And it kind of feels that same way going into this year, 2025.
Oh, I think the Bills are even stronger. I mean, look at their additions, free agency and in the draft. So I think the Bills are a juggernaut. The question is, whether they can get over the hump because they've got Baltimore there and obviously Kansas City. But on paper, I think they're the strongest team. And then a couple of the other teams in the divisions, I mean, the Jets, getting Justin Fields, he's not the long-term answer. I mean, he didn't even start last year. I think they're just buying time. I could really see this scenario, and this is crazy. If the Jets are bad, and they're always bad, let's say they're sitting at like 2-10, they might want to tank to get, Arch Manning or Nussmeier, the quarterback for LSU. There's a couple quarterbacks there that can maybe change your franchise. And the Dolphins, which on paper, they went into the draft, they needed 7 starters going to the draft. Maybe they filled 2 or 3, and then they trade a couple of their key players away. Their best cornerback, they have no cornerbacks at all, worst in the league. They have no tight end really now. I know they got Darren Waller, but Jonnu Smith traded away. They've got like 5 or 6 positions that might be the worst in the NFL. So the Dolphins, if Tua gets hurt, I could see them tanking. I mean, they didn't do it. They tried to do it a few years ago. The owner wanted them to tank with Flores as the head coach. But if they are tanking and the Jets are tanking and Buffalo is doing well as always, that's what leads you here to why I like this New England here total that we're going to give out for our lock.
And that's what we're going to do coming up after the break. We'll look at the, in a sense, new look New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel now as the head coach. You're listening to Locked On Bets. As we continue here on Locked On Bets, Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling with you. It is time now to take a look at our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Transition to Gerard Mayo didn't really work out for the New England Patriots last season, but they did draft Drake Maye out of North Carolina, trying to be the not necessarily the next Tom Brady, but at least the next quarterback in line to get the Patriots back on track. They went back to old linebacker Mike Vrabel as the head coach. I think was a good move after he saw success in Tennessee and things kind of bottom out there. And he waited about a year or so and then came back and now is the head coach for the Patriots. With all that being said, Lee, what do you like with the Patriots and their win total for the upcoming season?
So last year, they started off, their coaching staff was horrendous. I had them rated dead last, and they lived up to it. I mean, some of the decisions in game that they made were horrific and cost them games. They were leading some games. The play calling was terrible. They had no talent. And a quarterback, that's where it all starts. Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback, I think, for 5-6 games. They even had Joe Milton start a game late in the year because of injury. So literally 40% of their season, these games were started by quarterbacks that are not starters. Jacoby Brissett, some people like him. I think he's one of the worst backups out there. You know, maybe he's a team player. I get that. Maybe they felt that, you know, I think maybe the main reason was they didn't start Drake Maye was their offensive line was so bad and they didn't want him to take a full year of punishment, wanted him to learn. And I'm all for that. Great move. But when he came in, this was an absolutely different team. His escapability and his passing was really good and not much talent. So running back position, Ramondre Stevenson's still there. Probably start off as the lead running back, but I expect by week 2, 3, 4, I think Trevion Henderson, star running back from Ohio State, who's dynamic and might have a shot at winning Rookie of the Year. He will take over, so huge upgrade there. Offensive line, which was bottom 2, bottom 3 in the league. How about these upgrades? Will Campbell, number 4 pick in the first round from LSU, absolute monster. He's going to be a Pro Bowl guy probably for 8 or 10 years. He ends up going there. Great. I mean, some other drafts, he might go number 1 or number 2. Center in the 3rd round from Georgia, Jared Wilson, underrated. 2 guys that have been in these wars. They played against top-level players. I think both step in. That will be seamless. Wide receivers last year, bottom 2, bottom 3 in the league. Demario Douglas and Sean Booty. These 2 guys were the starters and the 1-2 guys at the wideout position. This year, Stephon Diggs, he comes over. Mac Hollins comes over. Huge upgrade there. So I think that we're going to see an absolute total makeover in 1 year, and Drake Maye is going to lead them. I think they're going to be top half in offense. You better get on them early if you're betting them early, because how about this schedule? They start off against the Raiders, not too tough. Dolphins, Pittsburgh, mediocre. Carolina, below average. Only Buffalo, and then New Orleans, Tennessee, and Cleveland. I could see them realistically being 5-3, maybe 6-2 to start the year. On defense, how about this? 4 new starters, including linebackers Harold Landry from Tennessee. That was their weakness. Their defensive line was okay against the run. Their linebackers just could not make tackles in space. And then Robert Spillane, who really came on for the Raiders. So 2 great additions. And Mike Vrabel, what did he play in college? In the NFL, linebacker, rush end. I mean, he knows that position well. So I think they did an excellent job in free agency. Love their draft. And then kicking game. They already had a punter that averaged 49.8 yards per punt. They add Andres Borregales from the U. I thought he was incredible. He has a leg that can hit up to 60 yards. And the total's sitting at 8.5. They're begging you because last year they went 4-13 to take the under. They're thinking, oh, okay, they'll improve 6, maybe 7 at the top end, 8 games. I have them winning, believe it or not, 9 or 10 games and maybe making the playoffs because of that easy schedule by finishing in last place. We're going to go with a level 2 lock. New England Patriots over 8.5 wins, -110 either way.
And you'll see what kind of difference Mike Vrabel makes as well as the head coach. That, again, he saw success in Tennessee. That Gerard Mayo was put in a bad spot, I think, out of the gate. And Vrabel's proven, and now Drake Maye's got a year under his belt. And you mentioned that schedule early on. 3 games at home, they're winnable. Like, you know, you go to Buffalo in week 5, that's going to be a tough game. But the first 4, they're winnable. Even the Dolphins game, it's a winnable game. So even if you go 2-2 out of the gate, you got to feel pretty good about yourself.
I think that they can go 2-2 or 3-1 against the Jets and the Dolphins. And if they do that, they go 3-1 against those 2 teams, I think they'll have a winning record.
And we'll see how it turns out with the Patriots coming up this season. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Locked On Bets. And also, we have our podcast you could find on all the different platforms as well, in case you just want to listen to us and not see us, but we appreciate you seeing us as well. But before we get out of here, Lee Sterling, what do you have on Paramount Sports?
Yeah, just following up on what you said, we're available now on YouTube, first time ever. So if you're sitting at home on your computer or you stream it to the TV, you can take a look and see what we look like in the 305. And Kevin's in the 954. So love to have you join us on a daily basis. We're available on YouTube there, Apple, Spotify, and so many other different ways. If you can, please subscribe on YouTube and all the different ways so you get notified when the episodes are released. So we're trying to release them earlier than we've done in the past, and that way you can get your bets in early, get the best possible odds. You know, some of these different podcasts or TV shows, half hour, an hour beforehand, these lines are gone. So we're trying to work for you. Anyone wants to get involved, we're already in the month of the starting of the football season. Yep, July 31st, football starts. You can sign up for the entire season. Said many times, these services are out there charging $4,000 or $5,000 a year. They don't even win for you. Just $19.97 the entire season. You want to try our player props in baseball, 10 days, just $50. Went 3-1 yesterday. Almost swept the board there. Had a couple big plays. So we rate them from 10, the smallest, to 50 units. That way you know the strength, how to play them, and gauge your bankroll. So the website is ParamountSports.com. You can always reach me here at the office. I'm back and recovered from the wedding. 800-400-9741, and hopefully start winning today.
And that is Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. I am Kevin Rogers. You can find me on X at Rogers Picks, and we'll be back with you coming up on Wednesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.